Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and Spotify to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 384 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Lise Cloutier. And if you want to hear the message from a Mammapreneur from Turks and Caicos, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. This is episode 384. I'm so excited. We're international today. I got Lise Cloutier here with me. She is somebody I met out in Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm just really excited to bring her story to our show today and to get a little bit more information out there about chiropractic down in the Caribbean. But before we get going into this episode, I want to let you guys know why we do what we do. We do protect free speech in chiropractic with Chiro Hustle, which I think is absolutely essential, as we know that we're being infringed upon with all of our media. So we are a freedom of speech platform. We also protect the sacred trust. If you guys don't know what that is, go and do a quick search on your favorite search engine and search BJ Palmer Sacred Trust. And we do support subluxation-based chiropractic. That's one more thing you might want to go search if you don't know what that means. And we protect the lexicon of chiropractic with universal intelligence and innate intelligence, and that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects man or woman to the spiritual. And with that being said, this is episode 384. Welcome to the show, Lise.
Thank you. Thank you so much, James, for having me. I was quite surprised when you approached me in Nashville at our chiropractic conference, asking me, well, you kind of said, hey, I think you're cool and I'd love to have you on my show. And I had no clue who you were. I'm so sorry. Obviously, I need to listen to more podcasts.
Well, you know, that's a big thing about what we do is we create a tapestry of the story for chiropractic and a depository for people to actually understand that chiropractic is multicultural. And we have, a lot of work to do when we get good talent. So a big part of my job is to go out and find amazing practitioners to say, hey, if you didn't know what we were doing with Chiro Hustle, it might be a good opportunity for you to share your story and to connect with our audience and your audience. And with saying that, your friends, family, colleagues, and your practice members are all going to hear this. So maybe they know you, but you said you've been practicing for 27 years, graduate from Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College, and they might not know your updated story and how you got to where you are today. So I love this segment of our show. So if you could just share with our audience your chiropractic story and a little bit about your background.
Sure. My chiropractic story, I think, is a lot like a lot of other chiropractors. I stumbled upon chiropractic when I was 15 years old. I had injured myself in track and field. I was super athletic. And of course, literally, I tore the sartorius muscle right off my ASIS, jumping over as I was running the 100-meter dash. There was a big water puddle because it had rained in my lane. As I took a big stride to jump over that, tore the sartorius muscle, one of the quads, right off my ASIS bone, was literally taken off the track, taken into an ambulance to the hospital. And, the medical model did their thing. I was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. They were giving me muscle relaxers because my leg wouldn't straighten out, right? Like the sartorius and the quads were all contracted. And of course, in their mind, when the muscles finally calmed down and we were able to straighten my leg, they thought, okay, you're going to go home and, it'll get better on its own type of thing. And it did improve, but it didn't improve fully. And I still had like a bit of my gait was off. And And I love water skiing in the summer, and I was kind of struggling with that a little bit. I mean, I could get up, but I wasn't the same caliber. And then my basketball season was starting back up in September, and I'm like, this is not good. Like, I need to be able to run and jump and sprint. And I think I'd ran into a guy from the track team on the other high school in my small town. And he said, he goes, what happened to you? Like, you disappeared you're always like front and center track athlete, track star. I said, I got injured. And I said, I'm concerned because I'm better, but I'm not fully better. And he kind of said, go to a chiropractor. And it's so funny because in my small town of 12,000 people where I grew up, there was 3 chiropractic clinics. And every day my mom drove me to school in high school, we actually drove by a sign, a clinic that said chiropractor or chiropractic clinic. And I just told her one day, I said, Mom, we need to make an appointment there. I need to go there. And of course, he was an awesome chiropractor. He educated me. He took x-rays. He did a proper evaluation. He explained to me what was going on. I had to sit through his new patient orientation or doctor's report. A lot of chiropractors call it today. And he educated me about how the body is self-healing and self-regulating, and that the nervous system is the master regulator, the master system of healing, and the master system of adaptation. And if there's disconnect between the brain, the spinal cord, and the organ systems, tissues, it creates disconnect, and your body's not going to be able to function optimally and heal. And I was like, oh, wow, this is so interesting. Anyway, so I started going. Of course, my SI joint, that had become the problem because of the injury at the front of the ASIS. So that healed. But what amazed me the most is as I kept going to the chiropractor, I had daily headaches from the time I was about 13 years old that, I was trying one medication, another medication. It's like my body got used to medications very quickly. And now I was undergoing more tests, and they kind of said, you're hypoglycemic. But I mean, the answer was always another pill or another drug. And to me, that didn't really make sense. But as I kept going to the chiropractor, my headaches started going away more and more. And then the other thing I noticed, like the fast forward a year later, every winter I was always on antibiotics for throat infections. I would literally take 3, 4, 5 courses of antibiotics. I was always getting throat infections. Fast forward a year later, I'm now 17. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't take one antibiotic this winter. And I asked my chiropractor about it. And he goes, yeah, of course. Like wherever you have poor nerve supply, that becomes the weak link, the weak spot in your body. It's going to be more prone to dis-ease, to problems, to infection. And it just started to make more and more sense. And luckily, I loved biological science. Biology and chemistry were my most favored subjects, and I had really high grades. And so at first I was like, I'm going to be a biology teacher because I loved my biology teacher. And then as I started, you start connecting the dots in your brain, and I thought, wow, maybe I should become a chiropractor. Right. So then I went to see my chiropractor, and I told him, I said, I'm kind of interested in chiropractic. Where do you go to school? How does it work? And he kind of said, it's like there's only one school in Canada. This was back in the 1980, 89. I'm dating myself now. Everybody's going to know how old I am, which I'm okay with. I'm aging gracefully with the chiropractic lifestyle. So he kind of said there's only one school in Canada. They only take 150 students per year. It's highly competitive. You literally have to have like high 90s. And I'm like, eek. Okay, I've got like 92 in biology, 94 in biology, 92 in chemistry. My math was more like the low 80s. The calculus is not my strength. So I was like, gosh, can I do this? And I was kind of a little bit discouraged. But he gave me a book, and it was actually an orange covered book. I can't remember the name of it, on chiropractic. And I started reading the book, and I took off to university because regardless, I kind of had to do my basic university sciences before you could apply. Back then, you could apply after 2 or 3 years, but you needed some science, university science prerequisites. So I took off for the University of Guelph, and halfway through my first year, I was kind of getting a little bit like, what am I going to do with my BSc degree? Because there was a lot of everybody in their fourth years, and we're all becoming like, I call them lab rats, right? They get a job as a researcher in a lab, in a dingy lab in these old university buildings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine doing that. That would be that would be the end of me, because I'm a people person for one thing. Like, don't put me in a dark, dingy lab. Anyways, lo and behold, one of my friends who actually lived on campus, this other guy who was always in all our classes because he was kind of doing his BSc, I started talking to him one day. I said, what are you going to do with your biological science degree? He goes, I'm going to chiropractic school. I'm like, what? Ding. And I'm checking him out. And I go, he looks smart, but I don't know, is he that smart? Like, so I started asking him his grades and stuff, I said, oh, what kind of grades are you getting? I heard it's really hard to get in. You need 90s. He goes, no, they actually recently changed the structure, because he said, they were putting out chiropractors that were super book smart, but had no patient skills, no personality, no, so now it's like your grades are 50% and your interviews 50%. And I'm like, okay, I've got personality. I can talk to people. So I got the details. I started actually driving from Guelph all the way to Toronto, which was about an hour, hour and a half, depending on traffic, sometimes 2 hours if there was a car accident. I was literally going to the chiropractic college every month. For I guess almost a year. I had spoken to the dean or registrar at the time. He goes, come to school once a month, hang out, sit in classes, see what you think. So I started doing that, and I always make sure to pop by the registrar and say hi and chat with them. And I applied, and of course I got in my first try, and the rest is history. I've been in practice 27 years.
So you got into college.
Yes.
You were admitted into one of those elite seats of the 150.
Yeah.
What was that like when you first jumped in?
Oh my gosh, you're taking me way back. 20. I graduated in 95. What am I, 27 or 28 years in? 27, right? Gosh, I remember, it's like, you're all checking each other out. Who's going to be the smartest in the class, and who's the most athletic, and who's the, this and that, who's going to be the funny, the class clown, you're just like, we were from all over the world. So yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
So
and of course we had great professors and crappy professors, and you just navigate. But I'll tell you, like, my best friends to this day are people I went to chiropractic school, because you just go through so much. It's such an intense 4-year program, after you've already done 2, 3, or 4 years of university. So yeah, it's a long haul for sure.
So let me ask you this. I know that it's not on our question set, but are you the first doctor in your family?
Yes. There's no other chiropractors. There's no medical doctors in my family whatsoever. I'm an only child as well. So
what was that like for your family to know that you got admitted into chiropractic college?
Gosh, do you want to know the truth? It wasn't good. One of my parents said, like, oh, why a chiropractor? Why don't you become a real doctor? Because she was, my mom wasn't really fully versed. My dad was like proud, but I guess he had his reservations. He goes, are you sure you're smart enough for this? And fast forward 4 years later, I did graduate. I actually graduated with clinical honors. So yeah.
Well, I think it's just.
I think they're really proud. To this day, I think they're very proud. My dad is one of my biggest supporters on social media. Whenever I do a Facebook Live or a little video, my father's always cheering me on.
See, that's special. And, a lot of times, when I interview chiropractic students, I ask them that question: are you the first doctor in their family? And it's a big opportunity for them to feel pride in what they're actually doing. And a lot of times they don't get a chance to reflect on who they are, who they're becoming. So I love that question, because it gives people a chance to resonate with like who they are. And I think it's really important. But congratulations on 27 years in practice. I think one of the things I'm curious about is you do know that from our chat that you said that you like to train CAs, you like to train chiropractors, and what are some ways that you've trained people in the past that you've seen having a positive impact on the marketing of chiropractic offices?
Yeah, so years ago when I was still practicing Canada, my ex-husband and I, we were always coached. We always firmly believe in personal growth and development. And we were actually one of my biggest mentors, which I always have to honor, Dr. CJ Mertz. And in fact, we're still friends. Him and his wife came to Turks and Caicos last summer. We went out for dinner. with him. And they actually had a few other friends that joined us for dinner. So he was one of my biggest mentors, and we became like the elite kind of top clients, because we were just like, anytime we went to seminar, we were just sponges. We absorbed everything. We hung on every word, every teaching, every new way of educating patients. And we would we would leave the seminar jacked, pumped, excited, our list of 50 things to implement. And we would go back to our practice and just run with it. And our practice just grew, like my ex and I, we used to see 1,000 patients a week combined, just the two of us, with an amazing team of trained CAs. We would take our teams, our staff to the seminars, because we wanted everybody to have that same level of training and that same level of, there's nothing to me like I need to be in a seminar. Like it's, with COVID, it's been the whole pandemic. It's like everything went virtual, and virtual is okay. It's better than nothing. But I like to be in the room, in the seminar. And I think one of the reasons is you just get this synergy, like when you have a bunch of like-minded individuals all coming together and you're rubbing shoulders, and you're just that much more energetically connected, and you walk out of a weekend seminar and you're just like on fire. You're up here. And plus you're in a room, you're in a bubble, right? There's no distraction. When you're doing online stuff, it's like all of a sudden, oh sheesh, I forgot the stove on. Oh my gosh, my child just like fell over his toy, or like wherever you're at in your life, like, oh my gosh, I got like a basket of laundry I forgot there. Oh my gosh, there's dust on the table. You just kind of get it's so much more easy. We're more easily distracted when we're just doing stuff online from home or our office, so I just like to be ingrained right in a front row seat, or like in that seminar setting.
So I'm taking away from this. It's important to have a coach. It's important to be in live events and seminars.
Yes.
And it's important to implement what you learn.
Absolutely. And so long story short, we became coaches because we became one of the highest, most successful practice in Canada. And then doctors around the world were calling us and were flying in to spend a day or two in our practice. And that's kind of how our coaching evolved. So we actually had a full coaching company with live seminars, I think almost every 6 weeks. I was in charge of the CA program. I did, so I taught 2 hours at every seminar. I did one-on-ones with the doctors. Every Tuesday afternoon, I was doing one-on-one personal business coaching with chiropractors. And then I also did a monthly global call with the CAs. Like I would have a different theme. So so definitely, like, if you think you can do this alone and be your own little island, there's ego there. Like we need support. We need a team. We need to be surrounded by other like-minded individuals for sure. And then,
So what you're saying is teamwork makes the dream work, like they say.
Of course. Yeah. And you have to train, you have to invest in your team. You have to educate them on the philosophy of chiropractic. You have, oh my gosh, if you're a young grad and you're a little bit confused, because let's face it, when we're in school, we're learning so much of the science of the human body, cell biology, anatomy, neurology, x-ray taking, x-ray reading, diagnosis. We're even, pathophysics. I mean, so, and a lot of our teachers come from the medical model, like they're PhD. Some of my teachers were medical doctors. So I graduated, and you're excited, but you're like, okay, I'm a little confused, right? Because it's almost like the philosophy goes off to the side, or we just get a little bit of a philosophy because the curriculum is so jam-packed with all the other important things we need to learn about diagnosing a patient and whatnot. So that philosophy gets, and then you graduate and you're excited, but then you like, okay, I became a chiropractor because of this reason, but now you're a little bit like, so one of the first things I did, I'd heard about these crazy seminars down in Atlanta, Georgia, called Dynamic Essentials. Are you familiar? You're laughing.
No, they still have those.
I was wondering. I actually just messaged Jill LaMarche like an hour ago because he's a dear friend. I've known him for like 30 years. He's actually from a small town not far from I am. And he's one of the head leading, I don't know exactly his title, but he's at Life University. He might be the vice president for all I know. But I didn't get a response back. He's probably on a plane jetting somewhere for a chiropractic conference or something. So I started going. I'd heard about these crazy seminars, and I told he was my boyfriend then, who became my husband. I said, we got to go to these DE seminars. We got to get the philosophy. We got to learn more, but we got to get the philosophy back in us. So we started going to DE seminars, philosophy seminars. I mean, Sid Williams was still alive. And I mean, Sid Williams, when he got up on stage and he spoke, I mean, everybody was glued to him. Nobody moved a muscle. And I was thinking, why is he such a powerful human being? But Sid he had the certainty, he had the conviction in every fiber of his being on the philosophy of chiropractic. And I mean, if he taught me anything, that's what he taught me. And when I'm doing a report of findings with a patient, it's like, you have to have that certainty. You have to have the conviction. By the time the patient walks out the door, they got to know that, A, they're in the right place. You found the problem, they're in the right place, and you're going to help them. Mm-hmm. No hesitation, 100. I actually like to say 1,000% certainty. My significant other always teases me about that. He goes, Lise, you can't do more than 100%. I'm like, no, you can do 1,000%, actually. It's a little debate we have going on. Right. Yeah. So you have to have the certainty. And if I can share one more thing you want to convert patients to care. I mean, we all became chiropractors because we love humanity. We want to help people. And chiropractic is our tool to reconnect the mind, the body, mind, body, soul, spirit, reconnect, create ease, get away from disease, and allow that person to vibrate at their highest God-given potential, whatever that is for you, like whatever that is for that individual. For some person, you might help them pull out their artistic side. Maybe they're meant to be a famous artist. Maybe they're meant to be an amazing athlete, right? We don't know what that is. We don't know, but we know what our job is, and we got to convey that. And we got to keep our message simple. I think when in our quest to impress people, with our degrees and all our chiropractic medical jargon, we do these complex report of findings, and the patient is walking out of the office and they're like, I don't even know what I have going on. And they talked about subway station. I think I have a subway station in my spine, because we're trying to use these terms, which is great. I'm a subluxation based chiropractor. Do not get me wrong. But when I say that, it's more like, hey, I'm a principal chiropractor, right? I'm not a pain-based medipractor. Sorry, I hope I'm not offending anybody. There's a place for everybody. That's all I'm going to say, right? Yeah. But you got to keep the message simple, because a confused mind is going to say no every time. They're not going to become a patient.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle. Yeah, there's a couple simple things that I tell people is if you chase two rabbits, you catch neither. And exactly. that has to be in our message too. And I also, I do a lot of chiropractic screenings. So I go out and work with the chiropractor and get them new patients.
Yeah, I've done thousands.
Yeah. And when I go out and do that, I tell people, it's my job to tell you the truth about what chiropractic is. And if I don't tell you the truth today about chiropractic and get you scheduled in to come see us, someone eventually will close you for drugs or surgery. And
exactly. That's powerful.
You have to have a lot of conviction when you're talking to people. And then, that sets off an alarm inside of them as to what did that guy just say? And yeah, and I've also known this. I worked in a clinic for 6 years. I know that's not a huge term, but being a non-chiropractor working in an office, I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned was chiropractors generally care more about their patient's health than the patient does. So in order to convey that and to be sensitive to people, there is a communication technique that people have to do in order to let them know hey, these big long words and this scientific talk that I'm having with you matters, but really what matters is you getting under consistent principle of chiropractic care, letting me check the spine, seeing where you have misalignments, and allowing me to adjust and to put those segments back to where they're supposed to, so your body heals the way it's supposed to. Deal. Okay, I'll see you. So I think that's kind of like the easy part of the process of converting somebody into a chiropractic patient, is just letting people know, like, look, I do one thing really well, and this is what I do. And I just want to earn your business. I want to earn your trust, and just know that I'm here to help you. And I think that's a huge, barrier of, approval once you can start getting people under care. And that's probably why you did such a great job that you were seeing 1,000 patient visits a week.
Yeah. I always say the quality of your life is the quality of your communications. So the more we can talk simply. And the other thing that I love, if I can share another tip, James, and by the way, I didn't realize you're not a chiropractor. That's amazing. I thought you were a chiropractor. So now I'm even more like, wow, okay. So I try to, when I'm explaining to a patient what's going on, one of the first questions I always ask people, what do you do for a living? Right? Not to be impressed or unimpressed or whatever, but that way I can relate to their world, and I'll use lingo that they can relate to. And interestingly enough, in the last couple of weeks, I've literally had like 3-4 mechanics, right? I just got to, that's the simplest. Like, I just got to talk alignment of a car. If somebody's driving their car, they're too busy to get to the garage or too lazy, and the alignment under the carriage of the car is off, what's going to happen to the tires, the treads? Oh, it's going to wear down, all uneven. It's going to be a disaster. So I use the lingo of what matters to them in their life. And usually, like, our biggest preoccupation in our life is our vocation, our work, right? And of course, like when I'm explaining chiropractic in general, I always say your brain is a computer, your spinal cord is your internet cable. If you have misalignments and it's disrupting the flow of information, now you have bad internet in your body. Is that going to be a good day or a bad day? And I'll go, is it a good day or a bad day at work if you have no internet? They go, oh my gosh, it's a terrible day. Why is that? Because I can't send out my emails and I'm not getting communications back from clients or, the people I need to deal with. So they just, like, you talk internet and you say that you're the IT specialist of the human body, it's done. It's over. It's like that simple. Because it makes sense to people.
And then it's another, like, phraseology is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Of course.
And I think that when people come into a chiropractic facility, they understand that the person providing the care really has this higher level of expertise and communication, because they want to take care of you. And I think that it's important, and I think that what you said is training and going to seminars and learning philosophy. But, as you probably know, a lot of that's not getting transitioned into the academia. So when people are going through the chiropractic colleges, they have to get supplemental influence. And they have to find mentors, and they have to find people to be their chiropractic heroes, if we will. So
absolutely.
I guess that gets me to this spot with you is, I know you mentioned CJ Mertz, but who are some of your other chiropractic heroes or mentors that you've had along this journey?
I think a lot of them have passed on, unfortunately, at this point. Sid Williams, Dr. Sigafus. Gosh, I can't remember. I did my pediatric certification with him. He's passed on now too. Larry Webster. I did CLA. I really like, people love technology. I'm like almost allergic to laptops. Like, the less time I can spend on a computer, the happier I am. But people are addicted to technology. So when you do like the CLA, subluxation station neurological scanning, you can say, look, see the red there in your neck? That's severe stress on your nervous system. So it's not just me telling them, I'm showing them. People are visual. So it's good to have some sort of technology that's going to be a diagnostic tool to back up what you're saying to the patient, for sure. And I'm totally like the most tech-tard person you could meet. If I can do a subluxation station scan, anybody can. Right?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think, There's a lot to be said about the education resource, and to have something that people can actually have and share.
Yeah.
I think that, when somebody gets a report like that from CLA, they share that with their family. They're
Yeah.
like, look at this thing. And
Yeah.
that's why I love pre and post x-rays so much too, is
Exactly.
because you can show somebody how you've actually changed the curve of their spine, which has a profound impact on their future.
Exactly.
And research shows that somebody with a kyphotic neck, they lose 15 years of life
Yeah. With
expectancy.
longevity. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing. And one of the things I used to do in clinic is I would tell somebody, like, put your head out as far as you can and take a deep breath. And then I'd have them do the same thing with their ears over their shoulder and take a deep breath. And I'd ask them which one was easier for them to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, the curve of your neck has an impact on your vital lung capacity.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's a quick way to get somebody to admit that posture matters.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then I say, well, how hard is your body working to function at optimal ability with your head out here like this all day,
Yeah.
with this forward head posture? I go, when you come see us at the office, eventually we're going to work to train those muscles in your neck to restore the curve to where your body goes back to where it's supposed to be. And your body has a lot better chance of having, good quality of health with good vital lung capacity, which, as you've seen, matters.
Yeah.
So I think that, the more that we can use small little things to educate people on, the better too. So,
I've used that example many times. And I mean, for every centimeter that head is translated forward, it's cutting power between the brain and the body. You're just putting a kink in the spinal cord, especially in the neck, and the brainstem is there. So I do a lot of corrective techniques. I send the majority of my patients for x-rays, and I think they appreciate that, because I say, like, the x-ray is the blueprint. Would you build a house without a blueprint? No. Okay. So I'm not going to play guessing games with your health. Your health matters that much to me. And it should matter so much to you that, okay, you're going to have to take an hour, because I don't have x-ray facility in my clinic. I have privileges at the hospital, so they have to go to the hospital, so it's going to be an extra hour or so out of their day to go get their x-rays after their initial consultation, but they need to bring that CD back for their report of findings. And it's important.
I think there's a lot to be said about just doing the right thing. And chiropractic is one of those things that always wants to do the right thing. And it wants to help restore somebody back to full functional. And, in the medical world, they call it activities of daily living. And I think when people really consider that, we just want to restore people back to the ability to do what they want, when they want, with who they want. And chiropractic has that ability to do that. But yeah, as people understand, there are different philosophical stances. There's 33 principles, and there is one that is limitations of matter. And if somebody hasn't taken care of their spine in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they come into that chiropractor for that one miracle adjustment, it might not work. And
yeah, I just had a patient today. It's his 5th visit. Today was his 5th visit. He's had 4 adjustments. He goes, I don't know. I'm pretty frustrated. I'm not feeling much of a change. I'm like, and then I opened his chart, and his scan has black and red, all over. I'm like, do you see your scan here? This is severe interference to your nervous system. This is the black is, and then the red is severe. This is telling me this started years ago. You honestly expect to be better in 4 visits? You got to hang in there. It's like peeling the layers of an onion, right? So
yeah.
That being said, though, we do get amazing miracles in chiropractic. I've had many.
So I know we're a bit over our time, but I'm okay with that if you're okay with that.
I'm okay.
I have a couple questions I still have to ask is the profession as a whole. You've been a chiropractor now 27 years. You said you started when you were 13.
Love you.
Where do you see this profession going? I know that there's a long road ahead of us, and I kind of use the measuring stick of 20 years, but even the next 5 years, where do you see the profession going?
I honestly am excited about the chiropractic profession. I feel like it's a movie right now. If you just see what's going on in the world with the pandemic, my practice dramatically increased with the pandemic. The pandemic wasn't all bad, people are stressed. People are starting to not trust the medical model very much, right? I mean, think about it. It is a reductionist model. It is the law of addition and subtraction. It is the law of trial and error. We're going to try this drug. for a while. If that doesn't work, we'll try this drug. If that doesn't work, maybe we'll do a combination, a drug cocktail of 2-3 drugs. And heck, if that doesn't work out, we'll start taking the parts out, right? It's like your health is like you don't have enough drugs in your system, or you've got too many organs, and we're going to try one, try the other. If that doesn't work, we'll start taking parts out. And I honestly think, and I think the pandemic's played a huge role in this. People are like waking up. People are catching on. My phone is constantly ringing with new patients. I do not have a lack of new patients at all, right? Since the pandemic. So I only see we help people heal naturally. We're not taking their parts out. We're not putting drugs in. We work with what God put in them, right? We follow the laws of natures. Gravity. If I let go of this pen, everybody knows it's going down. It's never going to go up. And I say, why? Well, how do you know that? Because I just know. Why? Because it's the law of gravity, right? So that's what we work. You cannot dispute the work that we do as chiropractors. It is laws like the law of gravity. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. So, and the wave of the future in healthcare, I think the allopathic model is going to reduce, and it's going to be replaced by avant-garde and chiropractors and other holistic practitioners, naturopath and whatnot, who have vision and foresight, and who are also implementing other diagnostic equipment, healing frequencies. I think it's the wave of the future. So I'm super pumped. I'm super positive about which way the profession is going. As long as we have the right people in place who are the visionaries, who firmly believe in the philosophy of chiropractic. Unfortunately, what happens is sometimes those chiropractors who suck at chiropractic and didn't get the philosophy, they are the ones that end up running our profession and making decisions for us. So that's a little bit scary, right? So we just got to get those people out of the way and put the right people in, and we're going to flourish more and more.
I agree with you more and more as we talk. Vitalism is something that more people are becoming attracted to. One of my favorite interviews we've ever done is with Les Brown. And he said that he likes chiropractic because it doesn't cut it out, it doesn't drug it out, and it doesn't burn it out.
Exactly.
They just locate, detect, and correct vertebral subluxation, remove the interference, allow the body to go back to homeostasis and the balance of health. And I think that that's what makes this profession so beautiful. And I really believe you are right. Like the positioning right now is people feel duped. They feel like the media transition them to make poor health choices, and big government transition people to make poor health choices. And they just didn't know that chiropractic is as powerful as it is and offers so much. I believe that we're headed towards a future of vitalism where people want more control of their decisions for what they put into their body or how they treat their bodies. And I think people are waking up, and they want to find somebody that will help them with the things that they weren't being told to do, like eating healthy, exercising, drinking enough water, taking care of their mindset, and taking care of their nervous system and their spine. And a lot of people were lambasted for saying that chiropractic could make a direct impact on the immune system. Well, the research is out there, if you guys want to go find it, that when you get a chiropractic adjustment, it helps with your immunity. It helps with
we've got tons of research.
But
tons of research on that.
You can't say that stuff though, and that's just it. Is I learned over this past weekend at New Beginnings out in New Jersey was that the medical healthcare professions are the most censored at the moment. So I think that we have a lot of work to do, and you are absolutely spot on. We need to go back and take these universities back and put vitalism back into these colleges and the curriculum. And that's why I believe
and the boards.
And that's why I believe that this show is so popular, because no one is my master. No one controls the helm of this chirohustle ship except for me. So when we bring on these practitioners and we talk the truth in chiropractic, it's unequivocal. Like what we do is so important to the future of chiropractic by telling the story. When I was started out in the profession, everybody would be like, tell the story, tell the story, tell the story. And I'm like, well, why aren't you guys telling the story? Why is it up to a non-chiropractor as myself to continuously tell the story? And up to this day, we've done over 1,000 interviews on chiropractic. We're not going to stop. And I thank you so much. I thank you, Lise. I thank you, Lise, for being our episode 384. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that was on our question set that you would like to answer or share with our audience before we call it a day?
Oh, yeah. Here, you said, what are you doing for your personal health and your family's health?
Yeah.
If I can say one thing, chiropractors, walk the freaking talk. Get adjusted weekly. A lot of chiropractors go months without an adjustment. How can you be healing other people if you're subluxated and you're not 100% in tune and in line? Get adjusted. It sounds silly saying that.
Well, I love and appreciate you for sharing so much today with our audience.
Thank you.
I appreciate our connection. And if you guys are out there watching this and you found some value of this, please share this, please comment. And I always close out by telling people you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. And Dr. Lise, I appreciate the connection with you today.
Thank you.
And look forward to the next time we get a chance to connect.
And I'm looking for a chiropractic partner in Turks and Caicos.
Oh, wow. I'll post that for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, have a blessed rest of your day. And
thank you.
We'll connect soon, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.